everyone. You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Baso-Yahe coming to you from Los Angeles, California. It is December 10, 2020. Tonight, we have updates from several of our correspondents across North America. Thomas Likeness in Edmonton reports about healthcare workers being first to be vaccinated against COVID-19 in Alberta. Chai Masaka in Waldorf, Maryland reports about Maryland to receive initial allocation of 155,000 of first dose of COVID-19 vaccine. Carla Valdez in Union Township reports about Governor Murphy and the New Jersey Department of Education announcing a $2.5 million grant addressing the learning loss of students affected by COVID-19. Sarah Ariola in Santa Clarita, California reports about LA Mayor announcing a program to provide internet access for vulnerable young community following the issuance of regional safer at home orders. Annabelle De Mesa in Glendale, California.
Los Angeles provides emergency relief for thousands of food service workers.
Aika Chong in Fremont reports about California renter protection bills introduced to provide relief during the pandemic. Anna Cui in Las Vegas, Nevada reports about an FDA panel recommending emergency use authorization of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Jairus Kayabyab in Texas reports about the Corpus Christi Fire Department getting a $4 million upgrade in equipment, and the Corpus Christi Police Department fostering more diversity in recruitment. Michael Hudson in Everett reports about Governor Inslee extending the state lockdown through January 4. For technology news, Melissa Allen in Lakeland reports about the FCC granting Elon Musk's SpaceX $885 million for the Starlink satellite internet project. And for EBC Sports, Julianne Evangelista reports about the International Olympic Committee announcing the addition of new sports for the 2024 Summer Olympics. And Melissa Potes reports about Miami Heat's Bam Adebayo buying his mom a house as a token of appreciation. Our coverage begins now. First, an overview of today's COVID-19 numbers. According to the Coronavirus Resource Center of Johns Hopkins University and Medicine, as of 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday, December 10, 2020, the number of cases of COVID-19 reported worldwide is now more than 69,354,000. Top three on the list of countries with recorded cases are the U.S. with 15.5 million, India with 9.7 million, and Brazil with 6.7 million. To date, more than 1,577,000 have succumbed to this virus. And the top three countries with the most number of COVID-19 related deaths are, once again, the US at more than 291,000, Brazil at more than 178,000, and India at more than 141,000. The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine received approval of Health Canada, and the first to receive them in Alberta are nearly 4,000 healthcare workers. In Edmonton, Bureau Chief Thomas Likeness files this report.
Thank you, Alan. Next Wednesday, the first people to receive the COVID-19 vaccine in Alberta will begin rolling up their sleeves. Health Canada has approved the Pfizer vaccine. Alberta Health Minister Tyler Shandro says nearly 4,000 ICU doctors and nurses, respiratory therapists, and long-term care workers are in the first group to receive a shot.
These staff are exhausted and they've put themselves at risk for 10 months. They need support and they need to know we're there for them.
Shandro says it's critical that these healthcare providers are immunized. You know, there's close to 700 people being treated for COVID in hospital in Alberta. More than 100 of them are in intensive care.
We hope that by covering the staff, we'll start reducing the risk to patients and residents, and will immediately reduce the burden and risk for the staff.
Shandro adds these workers will have to take a second dose about a month later. The minister says although the vaccine is good news, this is not the time to be complacent about public health restrictions.
We cannot take our foot off the gas with our adherence to the public health measures and the restrictions in place. It will be many months until the majority of Albertans are immunized, and until then, we are each other's best defense.
It's going to be a while before the average person can be inoculated. In the first 3 months of 2021, the province will vaccinate long-term care and some supported living residents and staff, as well as seniors over the age of 75 and healthcare workers most needed to keep the system going. A second priority group will be set up in April. The members of that group have not yet been announced. The general population, well, likely people will have to wait until next fall before they can be immunized. Until we can all be safe from this virus, I wish you all good health. Take care of others. Take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe, and stay tuned to Eagle News for accurate and balanced coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic and other current affairs. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas I. Likeness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
We wish you health as well, Thomas. Thank you as always for that report. $2.5 million in grants will go to schools with students who suffered learning loss brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. These schools include public schools, along with charter and Renaissance schools across 16 districts of the state. In Union Township, Bureau Chief Carlo Valdez files this report.
Thanks, Alan. On Thursday, Governor Phil Murphy and the New Jersey Department of Education announced a $2.5 million grant that will help advance academic progress and lessen the learning loss among New Jersey students due to the school closures because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The grant will fund programs in public schools along with charter and Renaissance schools across 16 districts. The 16 districts will also acquire up to roughly $156,500 per award using funding that the New Jersey Department of Education set aside in federal coronavirus aid, relief and economic security, or the CARES Act. Governor Murphy said, "Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, learning loss among our students is one of the most significant challenges faced by schools throughout New Jersey. With this program, among other efforts from the department, we are committed to closing the gap for vulnerable students who may have fallen behind by helping districts implement exemplar programs in their own schools, as well as providing additional resources to ensure that every student receives the high-quality education that they deserve." And as for coronavirus figures and numbers, New Jersey reports of 5,370 new positive COVID-19 cases, pushing the total to 386,606. Sadly, New Jersey is reporting 68 new COVID-19 deaths, pushing the total to 15,740 lives lost. In Union Township, New Jersey, Carlo Valdez, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Carlo Valdez, always keeping an eye on education out there. Thank you for your report. When we come back, updates from our Eagle News correspondents in Santa Clarita, Glendale, and Fremont, California. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Factual.
We have to defeat the virus everywhere.
Timely information. Balanced. Not only in the country, but also abroad.
I'm certain of one thing.
Interviews that people need to know. Watch Aguila Pilipinas. A 1-hour newscast of reports coming from regional hubs in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Know the important updates in Asia in ASEAN in Focus. Track the latest stories in the provinces in Aguila Probinsya. Tune into Mata ng Aguila, the evening primetime news program of Net25. Balanced and objective, Mata ng Aguila covers national and international issues, tackles news on business, health, science and technology, entertainment, sports and human interest features, and current events. And Eagle News International delivers the latest global reports, impartial, accessible, and up-to-date. It brings to fore EBC's rich international scope and access to valuable information streams.
Well, thank you to our health outdoor.
Catch these programs on Net25. You can also watch our news programs through eaglenews.ph and Eagle News Facebook page and YouTube channel.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basoyahe in Los Angeles. Following the issuance of another regional safer-at-home order, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti announces the launch of a program to provide internet access for the vulnerable young community. In Santa Clarita, Eagle News correspondent Sarah Ariola joins us tonight. Sarah. All right, we might have a little bit of a difficulty here. We will go ahead and move on, but still in Southern California. The Secure Emergency Relief for Vulnerable Employees, or SERVE initiative, is to provide $800 of stipend to 4,000 local food service workers in Los Angeles. Eagle News correspondent Annabelle de Mesa has the details. Annabelle.
Thank you, Alan. Los Angeles provides much-needed emergency relief for thousands of food service workers. The pandemic has greatly affected workers, with the food industry being one of the hardest hit, including the cooks, servers, and waitstaff. With the state regional stay-at-home order enforced for Los Angeles County and the closures of both indoor and outdoor dining services, a greater blow has impacted this business sector. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti introduces the Secure Emergency Relief for Vulnerable Employees, or SERVE for short, initiative. This was made possible through the collaboration between the Mayor's Office and the Mayor's Fund for Los Angeles. The SERVE program will provide a one-time stipend for $800 to 4,000 local food service workers in the city. Mayor Garcetti states employees in our food service industries have had to make painful sacrifices, and we have to do everything possible to support them through this time of economic upheaval. SERVE is designed to deliver relief and a little peace of mind to some of our most vulnerable workers, giving thousands of Angelinos a vital lifeline, putting money in their pockets to pay the bills, and upholding our promise to get through this unprecedented moment together. To receive this financial assistance from the city, one must apply online at coronavirus.lacity.org/serve through phone by calling 311. Applications are currently being accepted, and the deadline to apply is this Friday, December 11 at 11:59 p.m. In Glendale, California, Annabelle de Mesa, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Well, you know, Annabelle, great program from the city to assist the food service workers in need of these funds at this time. Besides being employed in the food industry, are there other requirements to qualify for this program? And if so, what are they?
Yes, Alan, there are 4 other requirements to be eligible for SERVE and receive this one-time $800 stipend. First, one must live within the city of Los Angeles. Second, one must be at least 18 years of age. Third, the individual's annual income must be $58,450 or less. And lastly, one must show financial hardship due to the pandemic by either the loss of their job or at least 50% income loss at their place of employment, working either in the front or the back of the food service establishment, such as restaurants, mobile food units, food stands, and even food push carts. Alan?
Annabelle, this is certainly welcome news. Thank you for filing this report.
Thank you, Alan.
Now we head to Northern California, where bills securing renter protection during the COVID-19 pandemic are introduced by a member of the California Assembly. In Fremont, Aika Chong files this report. Aika.
Here in Alameda County, we currently have a total number of 34,394 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. As quarantine is still in full effect and a number of businesses are still shut down, the livelihoods of many people have been drastically impacted. Although life continues to move on, sometimes the income does not. While many people already fear that they or their loved ones may be afflicted by this virus, some also fear losing their home. In a study presented by the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, it is estimated that 30 to 40 million people could be evicted from their homes by the end of this year. It is stated that without any federal intervention, there may be widespread eviction and long-term housing complications. In response to this, California Assembly member David Chu announced on Monday that he would be introducing 2 bills that would provide relief to renters during these unprecedented times. Although renters already hold federal protections from evictions, these protections are bound to expire in just this month. With David Chu's new bills, the protection would be extended all the way to December of next year. The second bill proposes a plan to provide rental assistance to those in need. However, this bill is still in the beginning stages and has yet to have full details for the plan. As 2020 comes to a close, we see more and more Californians struggling to stay afloat during this time of economic hardship. With the new bills coming into play, we can begin to see a glimpse of hope headed our way, despite this tumultuous year. With that in mind, we continue to do our part in the community by following health guidelines such as wearing masks, social distancing, and maintaining proper hygiene. In Fremont, California, Aika Chong, Eagle News, we live in interesting times.
From workers in the food industry to renters, we really did receive much welcomed news. Up next, updates from Las Vegas, Nevada, Corpus Christi, and San Antonio, Texas, and Everett, Washington. Eagle News will return in a moment. Stay with us.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net 25.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
You're watching Eagle News America. I'm Alan Basayahe in Los Angeles. Following the issuance of another regional safe-at-home order, Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti announces the launch of a program to provide internet access for the vulnerable young community. Los Angeles launches the Angelino Connectivity Trust to provide internet access for students in the city that are part of the vulnerable young community experiencing hardships to assist in their educational progress. Access to the internet has become an essential part of daily life for Angelinos, especially with the transition to virtual learning and work from home earlier this year due to the pandemic. The Angelino Connectivity Trust, or ACT for short, is an initiative of the City of Los Angeles in partnership with T-Mobile to provide internet connectivity free of charge to 18,000 at-risk foster youth, homeless, as well as children with disabilities. The ACT program will offer 100 gigabytes of free internet connection and will provide the level of connectivity for 5 years, renewable annually. Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti states, "The COVID-19 crisis has created extraordinary challenges for our most vulnerable young people. ACT will help ensure connectivity for students who face some of the highest hurdles by deploying a community-led response to help close the digital divide for students too often shut out of quick or easy internet access." T-Mobile's Executive Vice President of Business noted how important the program is because in today's remote COVID-19 learning environment, students without reliable internet face a total disconnection from their virtual classroom. Connectivity opens doors to opportunity and a brighter future, And we at T-Mobile believe every single child is deserving of that access. For those interested in more information about the ACT program, students and families can visit lamayor.org/connectivity or call 311. And now we head over to Maryland, where Governor Larry Hogan says that the COVID-19 vaccine distribution is the most massive undertaking of the pandemic to date, as the state prepares to receive an initial 155,000 of the first of 2 doses of this most awaited drug. In Waldorf, Chai Masaga joins us this evening.
Thank you, Alan. The state of Maryland will receive an initial allocation of 155,000 of first dose of the 2-dose COVID-19 vaccine. Big Pharma Pfizer will be distributing its vaccine on the week of December 14, while the Moderna vaccine will be distributed on the week of December 21. Governor Larry Hogan said that vaccine distribution is by far the most massive undertaking of this pandemic. Hogan emphasized that although vaccine is on the way, it is absolutely critical that Marylanders continue to fight the virus by doing the things that need to be done to stay safe. Phase 1A of the vaccination will focus on critical healthcare providers, residents, and staff of long-term care facilities. First responders are the priority to receive the vaccine. All 227 nursing homes and 1,668 assisted living facilities across the state have been signed up for the federal distribution partnership through CVS and Walgreens. In connection with this, an emergency order was issued expanding the scope of practice of the state's healthcare practitioners. Licensed doctors, nurses, paramedics, and pharmacists can administer COVID-19 vaccine with appropriate training and supervision. They're also authorized to prepare the vaccine after appropriate training, since COVID-19 vaccine requires dilution before being administered. To assure the public of the vaccine's efficacy and to encourage Marylanders to get vaccinated, Governor Hogan will lead an aggressive statewide public outreach campaign. The campaign will collaborate with trusted community partners and utilize targeted outreach, including among minority populations. Governor Hogan is set to receive COVID-19 vaccine publicly, together with Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford, as soon as the vaccine becomes available to them. In Waldorf, Maryland, Chai Masaga, Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Now, Chai, the rollout of COVID-19 vaccine has been what we've all been talking about. And what we want to ask you, when the inoculation becomes available to you, will you be taking the vaccine?
I would say yes, Alan, I would get the vaccine. Of course, my decision would still depend on future developments, like, the effects of the vaccine to those who got it first. But right now, based on the reports that we're hearing on the news, it's being 95% effective without really serious effects reported on those who had it, other than fatigue and headaches. I would say I will take it, Alan, because this is the only way we can fight the virus and live a normal life. But we'll see how Governor Hogan's campaign will go and what it has to say on the vaccine's efficacy. Information from this campaign will help us, or will help me, make the decision on whether or not to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Alan?
Right, Chai, the people that I've spoken to, they are either 100% sure that they would take it, 100% sure that they won't, and the others are 100% sure that they're still not sure about what they want to do at this point. Thank you, Chai, for your report.
Thank you, Alan.
A Food and Drug Administration panel recommends the emergency use authorization of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. In Las Vegas, Bureau Chief Anna Cui reports.
Thank you, Alan. Yes, a panel of experts and advisors to the FDA formally voted 17-4 during a meeting held on Thursday in favor of the emergency use of Pfizer and BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine. The FDA's advisory panel, consisting of independent scientific experts, infectious disease doctors, and researchers, did have one member abstain in addition to that 17-4 votes in favor of the emergency use for people 16 years old and older. So the FDA is likely to grant approval given the state of the pandemic. Also, 95% effectiveness, as Chai had mentioned there. And also in preventing, the agency states that there are no specific safety concerns that would stand in the way of the emergency use. Now, according to federal officials, initial shipment of 6.4 million doses will leave warehouses within 24 hours of being cleared by the FDA, which is projected to happen by Saturday. So it's going to move really fast, Alan. In the meantime, as we wait, I want to share some facts from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, about the COVID-19 vaccine. First, you won't get COVID-19 from the vaccine because none of the vaccines, not just the Pfizer one, contain the live virus that causes the sickness. However, the goal for each of them is to teach our immune system how to recognize and fight the virus. I mean, sure, just like the flu shot, it can sometimes cause symptoms such as fever, may cause our arm to be sore, or even cause us to have sore throat. But they say that this is a sign that our body is responding and fighting the virus should that happen. Secondly, people who have gotten sick with COVID-19 may still benefit from getting vaccinated. Because of the severe health risks associated with COVID-19 and the fact that reinfection with it is very possible, people may still be advised to get a COVID-19 vaccine, even if they've already been sick with it. Experts are saying that the amount of antibodies developed by those who have been sick with the virus can greatly vary. So it may not be true that just because you were sick with it, you've already built enough immunity to last you a lifetime. And lastly, the main goal for getting vaccinated is prevention. I mean, sure, we've heard some people with COVID-19 only develop mild symptoms, but we've also seen the number of people who needed to be hospitalized. And we've seen the numbers of, how many people actually died from it. So health experts, are not even sure to know how COVID-19 will affect someone. It's different for everyone. So even if you are not at increased risk of severe complications, even if you're healthy, you're young, if you get sick, you may also spread the disease, to your friends, family, and those around you. So getting vaccinated is still the best prevention. And as people wait their turn to get the vaccine, hopefully we'll all continue with wearing our mask, washing our hands, and observe social distancing to stay safe. In Las Vegas and the Eagle News, we live in interesting times. Back to you, Alan.
Anna, as expected, there's a lot of information to digest and so many things to consider. But for you, what do you think is an important next step as it relates to the vaccine?
Alan, I think the messaging, just like Chai mentioned earlier, she's awaiting to hear from the governor to see what he would say. The messaging to get vaccinated is really important. People will look to those they trust, right? Government officials, maybe their doctors, friends. I mean, they will look to those that they trust to tell them, to help them decide whether to get vaccinated or not. And we know how important it is to get vaccinated. That's the ideal approach for us to reach, to meet the goal of herd immunity. So I think it's really important that the messaging, strong messaging, will follow once the vaccine is being redistributed to the public. Alan.
And like what you mentioned in your report, Anna, even though we have high hopes for the efficacy of the COVID-19 vaccine, there's no excuse not to still follow infection control protocols. That's really important to stress to the public.
Exactly.
Well, Anna, thank you so much for this very informative report. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, Alan.
Now, let's switch gears with some good news for the Corpus Christi Fire Department. They are getting a $4 million upgrade in fire equipment. Plus, for those interested in joining the Corpus Christi Police Department, recruitment just got better. In Corpus Christi, Jairus Kayabyab has the story.
Thank you, and howdy from the Lone Star State. Here in Corpus Christi, the fire department will be getting a $4 million upgrade in equipment. On December 1st, Corpus Christi Mayor Joe McComb and the City Council announced its plans to invest in the lease purchase of 6 new fire department equipment that will replace older apparatus. The fire department will receive an aerial fire truck equipped with large ladders that extend from the truck and is hydraulically operated. It will also receive 3 ambulances, each equipped with cardiac monitors, burn kits, oxygen, and a stretcher. 2 fire engines equipped with ladders, hoses, tools, pump water, and a large water tank that holds 500 gallons and can pump an average of 1,500 gallons per minute. Fire Chief Robert Roca stated, "The Corpus Christi Fire Department is very thankful for council approval of this much-needed equipment. This is part of City Manager Zanoni's Fire Department Equipment Replacement Plan to ensure our firefighters have the very latest and updated fire equipment." Meanwhile, the Corpus Christi Police Department continues its efforts to expand diversity. According to City Manager Peter Zanoni, in 2010, women comprised 8% of sworn officers in the department. Now it's 17%. That percentage exceeds the national average, which is a little over 12%. The CCPD continues to recruit diverse people to reflect the gender, ethnic, and racial composition of the community. Zanoni stated that doing so better equips the department to understand the beliefs and various cultures and races in the community. And, in addition, the department will further dispel negative stereotypes and decrease crime, while increasing trust within our community. Presently, the department includes 453 sworn officers, including the current cadet class, of whom 376 are men and 77 are women. 51% of officers are Hispanic, 44% are white, and 4% are black. The police academy currently has 30 cadets, of whom 52% are Hispanic, 36% are white, and 6% are black. 70% of the cadets are male, and 30% are female. Zanoni stated that recruitment will be done through various forms of media, visits to college and universities, regional police academies, and career fairs. He plans to discuss expanding diversity efforts for the fire department in a future city council meeting. Meanwhile, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy out there in your part of the country. In Corpus Christi, Texas, I'm Jairus Kayabyab, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Jairus, for that report. And we did note the benefit of having more funding with that donation to your fire department. We have seen, because of COVID-19, firefighters are now also being utilized to actually conduct COVID-19 testing. But we do know that even though they have added another layer to their already overloaded job responsibilities, fighting fires, protecting the public, it still continues despite the pandemic. And so those additional funding for your firefighters, it truly is beneficial to them. Again, Jairus, thank you for the report. And now back to COVID-19 news. We head over to the Evergreen State, where residents just received an announcement they didn't really want to hear, but they have to comply with. In Everett, Michael Hudson updates us tonight.
Thank you. It's the news that many Washington state residents did not want to hear. Governor Inslee has extended the COVID-19 restrictions in the state of Washington to January 4th. This comes just days before the conclusion of the recent restriction that was placed on the state, which means gyms, restaurants, and social gatherings continue to remain heavily restricted to the public, with the sole reason being that the governor and the health officials are still not clear about the COVID activity, stemming from the Thanksgiving weekend where many families usually gather together to celebrate the holiday. Governor Inslee also stated that he will pledge $50 million to aid businesses and unemployment funds for the state, yet nothing has really materialized as of yet. With the restriction being placed with not really a concrete reason, Inslee has faced a lot of backlash for his decision from the state Senate and House of Republicans, with them having a joint statement saying, "It's very disappointing to see someone who has been drawing a government salary through this entire hardship, ordering small businesses to continue complying with restrictions that are making it hard or impossible for them to feed their families. The governor has no idea the anguish and desperation average people are feeling right now." And I end quote. Though the governor did state that if the data collected from the Thanksgiving weekend shows a decline in infections, then he is willing and open to calibrate and adjust the restrictions if need be. As of right now, there are 7,000 new cases, bringing a grand total of 184,404 positive cases and 2,941 deaths. We'll continue to do our part to bring you the latest news and updates from Washington State. Stay safe and healthy and continue to live your best life. Reporting from Seattle, Washington, I'm Michael Hudson, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you.
For viewers who follow Michael Hudson, despite reporting tonight about restrictions when it comes to accessing the gym, they know that Mike is quite a fit guy. And whether there are restrictions due to the pandemic or not, Mike somehow remains in amazing shape. Whereas the restrictions for restaurants that he talked about doesn't do me any good because I haven't yet learned how to cook. So I, for one, am among the group that wants restaurants to be back open so I can get a bite to eat. Not that I need it. Coming up, business news and EBC Sports. This is Eagle News America. Stay with us.
Sa pagsasara ng mga bansa sa panahon ng pandemya, isang bayan ang magbubukas ng kanyang pintuan.
Miss Reyna, kakausapin daw po kayo ni Mr. Dalmundo.
Pabalik sa isang kahapong ayaw ng balikan.
Yes, Mr. Dalmundo?
Alam naman ng kuya mo kung saan nahanapin yung mga bagay dito. Di pa naman nagbabago yung hotel since the last time he worked here.
Kuya, nagtrabaho ka dito? Ba't hindi ko alam yun?
Muling mabubuhay ang mga alaala.
Tayo mag-housekeeping, security, cook, tapos magpapalit tayo ng doble. Win-win!
Paano na yung hotel natin? Naisara niyo bang mabuti? Yung mga staff, napauwi mo na ba? Naku, paano na yung mga guest natin sa hotel?
Gusto ko lang muna sanang kumonsulta tungkol sa sitwasyon ko ngayon. Yung kapatid ko kasi, pumasok siya into an agreement with the hotel owner. Wala pa kasi siyang 18.
Problema nga yan, ng hotel. Which hotel, by the way?
Iisa lang naman ang hotel dito sa Olvida.
Seryoso ba? Itidemanda niya ako?
Pagmamahal.
Ang daigdig ko'y ikaw. Tuwing Sabado, 8:08 ng gabi, dito lamang sa Net 25.
Kumanta, sumaya tayong lahat. Kay saya-saya.
Sanay na sanay eh. Pro na pro. And yung mga birit ng yung mga high notes, na talagang you're hitting it really well.
I can already pronounce you na talagang you are real performers.
Wow na wow. I like your performance, okay?
And loving you. Marami sa aming nabubuhay. Patuloy ang
Simula na po ng ating mainit na bakbakan sa kantahan dito lang po yan sa Taging Sinagaling Part 2 Singing Edition!
In technology, everyone is always trying to build things that will go faster. Faster cars, computers, phones, and yes, even what everyone can't live without these days, the internet. Now, aerospace company SpaceX has just received subsidies from the FCC that will help give internet access to everyone at blazing speeds. Melissa Allen has the story. Melissa.
In technology news, on December 7th, American aerospace company SpaceX was granted more than $885 million in FCC subsidies for their Starlink satellite internet project, whose initial aim is to provide low-latency, high-speed broadband internet to rural and underserved areas. CEO Elon Musk touted the kit as installer-friendly and tweeted, quote, "It takes about 5 minutes to set up, but with future improvements, probably less than 3 minutes. No technical knowledge needed. Just point at open sky and plug in," end quote. SpaceX plans to send thousands of Starlink satellites into the Earth's lower orbit. For the millions of rural Americans currently lacking internet access, this may soon be able to help bridge the digital divide. In Lakeland, Florida, Melissa Allen, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Can't get over that faster internet. My gaming site is really looking forward to it. Now on to sports. The pandemic threw a wrench in the plans for the 2020 Olympics. But as the saying goes, the show must go on. So for the 2024 Olympics in Paris, the International Olympic Committee has already announced the addition of 4 new events that aim to attract a younger demographic. Also, it's announced that for the 2024 Games, it has achieved gender equality. In Boston, Julianne Evangelista has the report.
The International Olympic Committee approved the sports programs for the 2024 Summer Games in Paris on Monday. Included on the Olympic program are breakdancing, surfing, skateboarding, and sport climbing. President Thomas Bach emphasized that the Games will be centered on gender equality and the youth.
We will see exactly 50% male and female participation. Following on from the gender equality already achieved for Tokyo 2020, which will have about 49% female participation, but with Paris, we are doing the last step to full gender equality with 50% male and 50% female athletes participating. And this is for the first time in Olympic history that we will reach this full gender equality. The program for the Olympic Games Paris 2024 is addressing the younger generation, in particular with 4 sports. There is skateboarding, there is surfing, there is sport climbing, and as a brand new addition to the Games program, there is breaking, which are all very popular in the younger generation, and I think they will show a youth trend during these Olympic Games.
To make room for these 4 sports, Olympic officials made significant cuts to other sports, including boxing and weightlifting, with the aim for making these games more gender-balanced, youthful, and urban. In Boston, Massachusetts, Julianne Lou Evangelista, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
I do believe the climbing sport might be called bouldering. That's something I'm looking forward to. But I'm also looking forward to breakdancing. Can you imagine that as an Olympic sport? If it was only 20 or 30 years earlier, I, for one, for sure, would also be watching it. We continue on with sports by talking about the talent of Miami Heat All-Star Center on the basketball court, which is truly impressive, but a gesture he made off the court after securing a 5-year extension on his contract is what every mom would be proud of. Melissa Potes has this inspiring story.
What does Bam Adebayo do after agreeing to a lucrative 5-year, $163 million extension with the Heat? As a token of gratitude, the All-Star Center spends his money on a Miami home for his 56-year-old mother on her birthday.
My whole takeaway was seeing a 56-year-old lady that went through struggle, and it finally pays off. You know, that's the biggest thing, and that's not even got anything to do with me. You know, just her, the way she got from, you know, graduating high school to going and get her own job, moving out after straight out of high school, and kind of just going on her own and trying to figure it out was, you know, that's different. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people won't do that. So for my mom to just be a mature young adult and say, I'm leaving home and I'm going to make something of myself is, you know, I can't do nothing but, you know, man, that's just an incredible mindset to have. And then to raise a son by yourself and not having a car or not having the right income to make sure he can do all the things that he wants to do, but make him feel comfortable is amazing. So that's just a token of my appreciation. You know what I mean? She's always wanted that, so I finally got to give it to her, and that was a great moment for me.
Bam is an incredible human being. He really is, and their relationship is so special. He's making us all look bad. You know, now I'm feeling guilty. I have a great relationship with my mom, and I haven't done anything like that. You know, giving her any gifts or something to show her how much I care for her and love her. But I will now. You know, I watched that. That definitely was inspiring. But it's a beautiful relationship. That just gives you just a little bit of an indication behind the curtain of who Bam is as a person, as a son, and what really matters to him in this life.
The Heat will open the NBA season against the Orlando Magic December 23rd. In Orlando, Florida, Melissa Potas, Eagle News. We live in interesting times.
Coach Spoelstra, you took the words out of my mouth. Bam Adebayo buys mom a house. For the first time ever, I think this is officially me hoping that my mom does not watch this broadcast because, well, while I can't afford to buy you a house, for sure, a pair of house slippers will be on the way. So no worries there, Mom. We do salute, though, Bam Adebayo for really doing something wonderful for your mom. But you know what? He's not the only one. There are other folks that we would also like to thank, and they are our healthcare workers, first responders, and essential workers. Let's all give them a round of applause. All right, we certainly appreciate you. And that is today's Eagle News America. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Basoyahe. We live in interesting times.
May sakit na lumalaganap, lunas di pa nahahanap. May paraan para wag kumalat, kaalaman ay ipamalas. Pag-aralan o dali na, simulan ang disiplina. Mapahamak ay hindi na, lahat ito ay makakaya. May tamang paraan ng paghuhugas ng kamay. Distansya, pila-pila, takpan ng bibig. Stay sa bahay. Umaging kaisa tayo, kabilang sa pagsubok. Sama-sama natin talunin sa COVID-19. Sa COVID-19.
Yo! Lahat tayo ay nababahala. Ang dami ng gawain na naaantala. Atensyon nyo'y kailangan ng italaga. Kailangan mo na magtiis at magtiyaga. Yes! Kalusugan ay kaligtasan. Lumalalang sakit ay kayang iwasan. Mag-ingat, sumunod, ito'y malulunasan. Darating din ang ginhawa ng kinabukasan.
May tamang paraan ng paghuhugas ng kamay. Distansya, pila-pila, takpan ng bibig. Stay sa bahay. Kung maging kaisa tayo, kabilang sa pagsubok, sama-sama natin Stop the COVID-19. Stop the COVID-19. Umahing kaisa tayo, kabilang sa pagsubok, sama-sama nating talunin. Stop the COVID-19. Stop the COVID-19.
Kababayan, tulad ng OFW, kasa at biyaya ang gusto sa ibang bansa. Ang iba ay di swerte, bumalik nang walang wala. Hindi mo makikita, bakas ng pagluha. Ang Pilipino, simple lang ang gusto. Basta't may kwentuhan, tawanan at kantahan. Masasayang tao, mga OFW. Anumang problema ay kayang-kaya, kahit walang pera.
Okay, saya, saya. Okay, saya, saya. Tayo lahat ay masaya. Tumawa ng tumawa, dapat laging masaya. Buhay ay gaganda. Okay, saya, saya. Okay, saya, saya. Tayong lahat ay masaya. Tumalog, sumigaw, kumanta, sumayaw. Tayong lahat kaya saya, saya. Okay, saya, saya. Okay, saya, saya. Tayong lahat ay masaya. Tumawa ng tumawa, dapat laging masaya. Buhay ay gaganda. Okay, saya, saya. Okay, saya, saya. Tayong lahat ay masaya. Tumalog, kumanta, sumaya tayong lahat. Kaya saya, saya.